Now, here we are once again, continuing with this 3017 Chrono. Um, we have all this mechanism in here. Don't ask me what these parts are. I don't know. I just know how they work. Here's our reset hammer. When it's in this position, it's going to lock in like that. And when we push this lever, it resets. And this lever has a spring that's going to come in next. Comparatively speaking, it is a fairly large spring. I say comparative. Everything's tiny here, but when you compare it to other parts that we have, this thing is pretty big. It's got a lot of work to do. I think that's why it's the size that it is. There's the position it's going to go, and I want to position it so I can, do we do the short side first or the long side? I'm thinking of putting the short side in, just like that. Grabbing a finger here, pushing that down, and it's in place. Now, this lever is held in place by the I guess that's the reset lever, and its screw, and it's this guy right here. So that's going to capture all that, and it'll keep that in place. All that spring mechanism. I do want to put a little 8200 on that. Since that is a pivot point, put a little 8200 in there. And this screw is fairly large because it helps hold that chrono bridge in place. It ties that chrono bridge down. So let's get in the shot. Okay, genius? There's that chrono. That screw is fairly large. Holds everything in place. Here is access. This hole here gives us access to remove our stem. So this screw is fairly large. It's one of the larger screws on this piece. Let's give that a good, we're going to tighten that up. And as this comes around, to our actuator, let's get a better shot of that. Come on, computer is not keeping up. All right, there we go. This lever is kind of sloppy right here. There's a shouldered screw that holds that in place. Fairly large head, shouldered screw. Got a little bit of grease on it. Okay. So you see how that. Let's see if I can operate that mechanism for you. There you go. Okay. You can see how that works. The spring, I don't have the return spring on yet, but it will be. That's our next step. Our next step is going to be the, I'm not exactly sure what it's called, chrono, alright, come on, focus. Part of the chrono actuator, I don't know. I just know where it goes. This is serviced and jewels are lubricated. We are going to drop that in like that. Work that around. This screw right here is actually an adjuster. If my computer can keep up, right there is an adjuster. It just slips right over the top of that, and then right in here is where our mounting screw is going to go. There we are. Let's get that set up. I'm not going to tighten that all the way because I want to make sure we have some free play here. Okay, looks like we do. We can drive that home. Okay, this is going to need a spring to load it, and then there's a spring that comes up over here for that reset lever. The first one that's going to go in is this little guy right here. It's pinned and screwed in place, and if you notice, there's a little tiny shelf right there. That's where that's going to sit. You have to pick it up just a bit, put that on there, and if you notice, that screw hole is not lined up because of the tension on the spring. But we can install that screw. It'll allow it to thread in. Come on. Then we can at least get it started. Are we in the shot? Yeah, but the lighting sucks. Focus. We can at least get it started. And as it drives it in, it's going to self-center itself on there, and we'll give it a test. There you go. You can see how that's working, how that actuates. I'm going to make sure that's tight. Okay. And our final spring is this guy. Whoops. This actually has two parts to it, if my computer can keep up. That spring has a shim, the little spacer, you can see it right there, and it's pinned and screwed. That is two parts. I put a little bit of 8200 on that piece and holds it in place. Of course, I'm having trouble picking it up. Okay, that's in place. Okay. We're not going to run this in tight. I'm just going to keep it loose because that lever right here, Let's focus that. That lever, or the end of that spring goes on this reset lever right in there on that pin. Once we have that set, we can drive this home. And there you have it. So, our reset lever, actually there is the shot not in focus. Let's do this to show you where that lever sat, or that lever, good lord, to show you where that spring is settled. When I actuate the reset lever, see that pin? It's sitting right on that pin. And I'm going to put a, there you go, there it's actuating. I'm going to put a smear of 8200 on that pin and lever assembly, because it's going to need it. Everything works better when it's lubricated, including the mechanic. Of course, I'm drinking sparkling water right now. Plain old sparkling water, ice cold sparkling. Okay, so here's how that works. The fact that things are working right now lets us know we probably did something right. So that's a good thing. The last thing we're going to do, we're going to end this because we're running into about 12 minutes. Obviously, you can see we do not have the balance in, but everything else is done. Everything else is looking good. Movement's nice and free. We are going to assemble the balance cock with the new bridge, and we're going to get this ticking away and get this back to its rightful owner as soon as we can. Thanks for watching.